Welcome to Digital Transformation North America 2019. So I'm Andy Tiller. I'm responsible for, together with my colleague, our CTO, John Gillam, for the collaboration work that we do at TM Forum with our members. That includes our standards work and also our Catalyst projects, which I'll tell you a little bit about. TM Forum, if you don't know already, we're an industry organization for the communications industry. We have some 850 members worldwide, and our role is to help those members to collaborate and to co-innovate so that they are able to thrive in the digital future. And right now, that digital future has a lot to do with 5G. So I'm sure you know this diagram. It's ITU's famous triangle of 5G opportunity, and it shows you the differentiating features of 5G and what they can be used for. So right at the top of the triangle, we have speed, high speed, and high capacity in the network. It's exactly what we need to supercharge our fast phones and provide enhanced mobile broadband. Bottom right, we have ultra high reliability and ultra low latency. So 5G offers these capabilities, and we can begin to think about applications such as autonomous cars. Bottom left, massive machine type communication. 5G can support millions, billions of devices in the global network, and that allows for massive machine type communications, IoT applications with large networks of sensors. So when we say 5G is here, what we're really talking about is, so far anyway, just the top part of 5G. It's the top of the triangle, the tip of the iceberg. It's enhanced mobile broadband. So this is already giving a bit of a boost to our industry as we all go out and buy new smartphones, new 5G handsets. But in some senses, it's not a radical change because we already have the business plan, we already have the systems and processes to deal with smartphones and data plans. You know, that's business as usual for us. Of course, we can still do a better job, more efficient operations and processes, better customer experience, but the ground rules are already there. And unfortunately, this is not going to generate long-term additional revenues, sustained additional revenues for our industry, because we're already seeing in the market that 5G is priced pretty much the same as 4G. Whatever price premium there was for speed of 5G is now being eroded as disruptors are putting their 5G price levels at the same price points as 4G. So what we're really looking forward to then is the bottom half of the triangle. And the bottom half is where we're going to generate new types of revenues from these new capabilities of 5G, where low latency, high reliability, massive IoT connectivity, together with features of 5G such as network slicing, which allow private networks or private slices of the network to be created and guaranteed for particular applications. These features are going to enable us to create new services primarily for the enterprise market. The bottom of the triangle is really about B2B and B2B2X. Enterprises need 5G. They need to digitize their businesses, for they can see that 5G will be able to do all kinds of things to support their business and make it more effective. And according to this research from Bearing Point, which they've kindly allowed me to use, we can see that those enterprises are also interested in procuring those services from their communication service providers. So at least 97% of them are willing to buy those new services from their existing CSPs, and they're expecting to pay more for them. So most of them expect to pay between 10 and 25% more or spend 25% more with their existing service providers if those service providers are offering them these new services based around 5G. So that's encouraging. Our industry also is encouraged by the opportunity for 5G. So these are some results from a survey we carried out at our event in Nice, our big event in Nice. We had a CXO summit, 70 C-level executives from the telecoms industry were there, and we asked them, what revenue growth do you expect from 5G? And they answered, well, most of them answered, 5 to 10%, 10% plus on a 2020 to 25 timescale. What we really saw, though, is in the even longer term, there is even more expectations. So by 2029, in our research, that's when the vast majority of our industry, more than 70%, expect that more than half their revenues are coming from B2B services, these new 5G type services. That compares with just 17% that are making more than 50% of their revenues from B2B today. So growth is expected. But you may have noticed there, the timescales seem rather long. Why isn't it going to happen immediately? And there are three reasons for that. The first reason is about the rollout of 5G itself. It's coming in stages. What we have already is 5G new radio. We have the capability to support faster mobile broadband on advanced smartphones. And we're beginning to see fixed wireless access as a technology which can be rolled out to replace the fixed line broadband connections. So that's beginning. You can see 2019, we're expecting that to happen. But some of the core network capabilities that we need for more advanced features, and in particular for network slicing, which is critical for a lot of applications, that's not expected to be widely deployed for a few years yet, maybe 2022 or later. So that's the first reason. But there are two other reasons as well. 5G doesn't just stand alone by itself. The 5G network on its own is not going to deliver all these new exciting services. Our industry needs to develop competencies in a whole range of new technologies to support the 5G services. So these include things like AI and machine learning. 5G networks are so complicated, so many parameters to tune and optimize the network, so dynamic with network slices being brought up and torn down continuously, that humans are no longer going to be able to control the networks manually. AI and machine learning is going to be needed. The machines need to operate the networks. So that's one core competence. Similarly, to deliver on the promise of low latency, we're going to need edge computing as well. Multi-access edge computing brings the processing power from the cloud closer to the edge of the network to reduce latency for critical applications. We may even need blockchain to support settlement and service level assurance, smart contracts amongst multiple parties in services which rely on many parties to deliver them. And to go alongside all of these new technologies, we need to develop some fundamental foundations, competencies in data analytics, competencies in cloud computing, and new ways of working using agile software development and DevOps. The way to read this chart is perhaps easiest to just look at the yellow bits. That means we've already implemented and are getting the benefits from these things today. You can see that more than 1/3 of our industry is saying, yep, we've got data analytics, cloud computing, we're starting to use Agile and DevOps, and already getting those benefits. But also you can see it's very early days with AI, with blockchain, with edge computing. These things are just in their infancy in terms of our ability to use them effectively. So that's the second reason. The third reason why things will take time is that we have to completely reinvent the way we do business and go to market for 5G. So the old traditional model where an operator would buy technology, hardware and software from its suppliers and build services and take them to market to consumers and enterprise customers, that's going to go away. There's various reasons for that, but one obvious one is that these enterprise customers are global. We need to offer standard services that work all over the world, and that's going to require services that are built from multiple networks, all working seamlessly together. Of course, that's not completely new for our industry. We had to collaborate to make global roaming work just for basic voice communications. But what's different with 5G is that with all these new competencies needed, it's just not going to be possible for the traditional operator community to do all of these things on their own. We need to co-create. We need to work in partnership with the supplier ecosystem to support advanced AI, data analytics, edge computing, and other things that are needed to create global services. And it doesn't just stop there. Even these enterprise customers that are part of, that once upon a time they were just customers, with new platform business models, they're also going to be co-creating with us to create the new services. So what we can see here is we don't actually have to wait for 5G to start doing these things. And many service providers have already started to go beyond their traditional competency in connectivity to provide platform business models, to develop end-to-end services for different markets, different vertical industries. You probably can't read this chart here, but if I simplify it for you, you can see the black is businesses that are already generating money. The grey is businesses that have begun to be established. So you can see that what's standing out here is financial services is the one area that's making money in India for Airtel, for Orange in Africa and other places, for a number of other operators. Financial services seems to be one area where operators are beginning to make money beyond their traditional connectivity services. Here in North America, both Verizon and AT&T have established businesses in telematics for advanced connected car market, but pretty much that's it. Everything else is just starting up, just getting going. Our industry is not yet making a lot of money from these vertical markets, but we've established a foothold. It's going to help. Example from AT&T about how we take this further with 5G. So AT&T announced back in February that it launched its 5G innovation program. As part of that, it's deliberately bringing partners together to co-create new services, both in its live network and in its labs. It's also working directly with enterprise customers, including right here in Plano, Texas. There's an AT&T foundry. I'm not sure if these pictures are actually from the Texas foundry, but you can see the example of what it looks like inside. Here they've set up a manufacturing facility which shows the application of 5G to smart manufacturing, and they're working directly with enterprise customers to make this happen. Another example with the announcement recently in July with Microsoft is that AT&T will be working on a multi-year deal, multi-year project to both migrate its existing non-network workloads into public cloud. That's BSS and OSS type applications into public cloud, but also to work with Microsoft to co-create new services for vertical markets based on cloud computing, edge computing, AI, and 5G, bringing all of it together. So we see it's happening. Another place that it happens a lot is inside TM Forum's Catalyst projects, where, for those of you who don't know what Catalysts are, they are rapid-fire proof of concept projects where our members get together, they work together for a few months in teams of perhaps 5 to 10 companies, and they try to solve challenges set by the champions. Typically, they've been service provider champions setting the business challenge, and the participants work together to create a solution. And then they showcase those solutions at our events. We've got a couple of Catalyst projects outside here. Please make sure you go and see them. They're really, really cool. I'll tell you a bit about them. Here's examples where a few of our Catalyst projects have begun to look at 5G and to solve the challenges that 5G presents. And first one here is 5G Riders of the Storm. So this has taken network slicing and looked at how would you make that work in the real world for a case where you need to make sure that a network slice is available for emergency services in catastrophic storm conditions. This was inspired by catastrophic storms in Europe not long ago. And so this team got together and they said, okay, well, we know that 3GPP has defined the technical aspects of network slices, the generic slice template and so on, but nobody has really worked out how you can actually standardize the configuration and management of these network slices, attend to things like the assurance, make sure that they're guaranteed to stay there and be available. So this team dealt with that problem, and they started to create some industry standards and best practice and contribute those back to TM Forum's work. This is a really important use case. The European Union is now taking an active interest in using network slicing for emergency services. Very helpful. Extending that a little bit further, we have another Catalyst, 5G optimized capacity and end-to-end experience. This one looked at a use case where the slice is very dynamic. You've got a VIP customer traveling in a vehicle and crossing an international boundary, needing a network slice which supports high-quality video conferencing, bringing that up dynamically, and then the vehicle crosses an international boundary and the slice needs to continue providing that service going from one country to another. So here we had Verizon as a champion. We also had BT as a champion. Two operators working together, the service providers, the suppliers looking at how to use AI to assure that network slice, even how to use blockchain to manage the multi-party settlements, smart contracts, and so on between the parties involved. So quite exciting. And then to scale that up even further, the Skynet Catalyst actually looked at a global epidemic. This has got 10 different champions working together, 10 service providers, figuring out how they would support through 5G various kinds of medical services in an environment where there is a global outbreak of an infectious disease. So in this one, what's quite interesting here is that the team began to also look at applications requiring low latency. So remote surgery, where a surgeon thousands of miles from the patient could be, using a knife, and a robot is actually performing the operation in the remote area. Of course, the knife has to follow very closely the hand movements of the surgeon with extreme low latency. Equally, drones flying over the infected area to gather intelligence also is requiring a low latency to control those drones. So beginning to explore other aspects of 5G. Here's another Catalyst project which looked at low latency, and here it was needed to use edge computing as well. This is an application in a factory where you have sensors monitoring the performance of different machines, feeding back data to a central processor which is figuring out, using AI, what's the best way to tune the parameters of the machine to optimize efficiency, and very importantly, to shut the machine down if it's about to go wrong. And you have a very, very limited time window to do that, and in some cases just milliseconds before the machine catastrophically fails and damages itself, causing tens of thousands of dollars of repair work needed. So in this case, in addition to having the 5G network inside the factory, a private 5G network, Wi-Fi in this case, they tried it, wasn't good enough, didn't serve the purpose, but they managed to connect the sensors using 5G. And then they brought the AI for processing close to the edge of the network, so to minimize the latency. And then they sent the raw data from the sensors, video cameras and so on, directly over the network to the processing units without compression. Compression takes time. So you need the high bandwidth capability of the network to send the full data and then return the response with minimum latency. So beginning to use edge computing here as well as 5G. Another application using edge computing, this is a completely different example. This is a Catalyst looking at using augmented reality to give tourists an experience visiting the Roman baths in the city of Bath in the UK. So with this application, you can take your smartphone, you can point it at the scenery around you, and you can see how the Roman baths looked in its heyday in 200 or 300 AD. You can see what happened when the Romans left in 410 and the Roman bath started crumbling. You can watch how over the next 400 years it went into ruin, and then you can watch how in the 18th, 19th century it was rediscovered and renovated. And all of this is using 5G on the phone, using low latency applications, processing the AR. What's interesting here is that the edge computing is done differently from how it was in the previous example, where there we were moving processing close from the cloud close to the edge of the network. Here, what we're doing is we're actually moving the processing from the phone to the edge of the network, because if you do all the 3D rendering on the phone, it runs your battery down in 15 minutes. So here, putting the processing at the edge of the network and just displaying the results on the phone provides a much better experience. So here, again, low latency of the 5G network and edge computing. One of the other catalysts that you'll see outside here is AI Leap. I mentioned before that we need AI to manage the network because it's too complicated for humans to do that these days and too dynamic. So this Catalyst project was looking at preventing abnormal network behavior, spotting that, using artificial intelligence to figure out what data is needed to extract and analyze for root cause analysis, and then automatically fix the problem. Beginning to look at cognitive network automation. Can these networks run themselves through just having the machines doing the thinking? In this project, BT was one of the champions, and BT provided real network data. So we could test this, train the AI algorithms using real network data. And as a byproduct of that, BT managed to improve their own network inventory accuracy by 3%. So they got some benefit from this directly, as well as contributing to the industry's understanding of how to use AI to automate networks. Last one I want to mention is, you'll hear a lot more about this later in the event, but this is also on show out here, the Digital Business Marketplace. This is the bottom left of the triangle, where we're beginning to look at massive machine-type communication. How can you operate massive IoT networks where you bring new devices on board automatically and manage the life cycle of the services on those IoT devices. And here you need many, many partners. So we had a lot of service providers as champions. We had a lot of organizations providing the technology that's needed to do this, and essentially created a standardized approach for the ongoing order delivery and management of multi-party IoT offerings. Really, really exciting project, really close to commercial readiness now as well. So we can see through all of that a common theme that emerges is that we're going to need brand new systems and processes. We need to reinvent our systems and processes to really support 5G. 5G is about two things, really, the two common directions. So we have our existing business model where we still have problems to solve. In the delivery of phase 1 of 5G, delivering a better user experience and reducing the cost of operating all that legacy IT and spaghetti that we have. That job is not finished. It's not going to be finished with 4G. It's not going to be finished with 5G or probably 6G or ever. Of course, we continuously need to improve the IT systems and processes that we use. But where 5G really does add a new dimension is a sense of urgency around the ability to bring new products and services to market faster, to accelerate concept to cash. This is something that has been in the plans of pretty much everybody's IT transformation, but it's up till now typically played second fiddle to solving that horizontal access problem. How do we really improve the efficiency and customer experience for our customers? Now with 5G, the y-axis becomes vitally important. There's a sense of urgency to this, and that applies whether you are just planning to offer enhanced connectivity services, connectivity as a service, for example, with network slices. We already saw that this will only be a success in the market if customers can simply order a network slice, self-serve that network slice as an enterprise customer, and in addition, therefore, to understanding how the network technology needs to evolve and be implemented for 5G, we also need to attend to provisioning, service assurance, dynamic service levels, and monetization. So these are all the things that TM Forum is thinking about in our Catalyst projects and our collaboration work. If you take that a step further and say we need platform business models, we need to create end-to-end services, then actually one of our executives in Nice commented that building your own platform is a little bit like arm wrestling with a bulldozer, and going to offer end-to-end services to vertical markets, that's something you simply can't do on your own. You have to do in partnership. These systems are complicated. But that is exactly what our industry is saying we need to do. More than half of the executives surveyed, more than half of a larger survey we did, say that we need to develop platform business models and end-to-end services for vertical markets, going beyond connectivity as the thing that operators provide to enterprise customers. So it's important. Are we good at doing it? Historically, no. The executives, when we asked them to compare telecoms to an animal, we got elephant, dinosaur, hippo, whale, these kinds of things. And where do we need to be? We need to be tigers, foxes, cheetahs. If it's really going to take us till 2029 to get ready to offer these new things, then disruptors will come into the market and they will steal it away. So we don't have that long. TM Forum has been working hard with a sense of real urgency to change the old way of doing things around IT systems and processes. In the old world, we had a static network which didn't change very often. We had layers of IT, OSS and BSS, and then we had people doing operations. That's got to change completely for this new world where we need more agility. So the network is becoming more dynamic. It's hybrid infrastructure. Network slices will be brought up and torn down dynamically. On top of that, we need to have to change the old OSS and BSS, create new cloud-based applications, cloud-native based on microservices, typically not bought and installed in a data center anymore, but accessed from the cloud as a service. And on top of that, we need these systems and processes to be operated by machines. controlling the millions of parameters that need to be tuned dynamically in real time. So all of that needs to happen. Beyond that, though, these systems have to be open. We have to open up using standard APIs so that the IT assets and network assets that the operators have can be exposed to partners, and so that those partners can offer services that can be used by the service providers as well. So we need open systems too. And TM Forum's collaboration work is based around these three things. The first, we have three programs. The first program, IT and Network Transformation, is all about reinventing the architecture for the OSS and BSS, creating a new open digital architecture, defining the components of that architecture, defining the APIs that allow them to interoperate, zero-touch interoperability between those components, and building reference implementations in our labs so that suppliers can test their components are conformant with the standards. That includes building capabilities for autonomous networks using AI. We have an intelligence and insights program, which is all around these issues. So the Intelligence Insights program is looking at AI, but it's also not just looking at applications to the network, but also to customer experience. Customer experience is a very important part of this as well. How does AI enhance customer experience? And then our third program, Digital Ecosystems, this is all about zero-touch partnering, enabling players in our industry to work together to provide open interfaces, standardized, harmonized interfaces to the systems used by other ecosystems and other vertical markets. So these three programs are building what we call the Open Digital Framework. ODF, it's a whole series of blueprints, of APIs, of reference implementations, of standards, of libraries, foundations, best practice guides. All of our collaboration work goes to build this, which then helps the industry to transform faster. And we do that in these three programs under 10 projects. These 10 projects, you probably can't read them all from here, but they cover a wide range of areas. They're not just technical projects. Just recently, we also began a new initiative around digital organization, culture, and skills. So how can the industry develop those new skills and a new culture needed to thrive in the digital age? So all of this stuff we want you to be involved in. We want you to participate with your peers and get involved in our collaboration work, get involved in our catalysts. We would welcome you to do that. Just before I close, I want to say, direct your attention to the 3 research reports that I've been taking a lot of my material from, provided by our research team. Please find these on our website. Whole load of really good detailed information on 5G, looking at the opportunity and the challenges there. So I recommend them thoroughly to you. I think I will pause there for questions. So thank you very much indeed. Let's collaborate.